Hey everyone, welcome back to the Unfiltered Fix. I'm your host, Megan Sharp, and today I want to start by asking you a question. What's the first thing that runs through your mind when you mess up? Do you tell yourself it's okay, you'll get it next time, or do you start ripping yourself apart? The way we talk to ourselves, especially in tough moments, matters more than we realize. And I'm not just talking about some fluffy, just think happy thoughts nonsense. There's actual, real science behind why positive self-talk works and why some of the most elite athletes in the world rely on it to win championships. Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, and my personal all-time favorite, Kobe Bryant. These aren't just physically gifted athletes. I mean, they're incredibly gifted, but this isn't just based on their God-given talent. They have or had unshakable mental discipline, and their self-talk plays a massive role in that. And let's be honest, if it works for them under the most high-pressure situations imaginable, it can work for us in everyday life too. So today, we're diving into how self-talk impacts confidence, the science behind it, and how you can start rewiring your inner dialogue for success. Let's start with some fun facts, because I know some of you are thinking, okay, but does this positive self-talk thing actually work? First, we have anywhere between 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day, and up to 80% of them can be negative. That means if we don't actively work on our self-talk, our default setting is basically sabotaging us before we even start. There's a study from the Journal of Sport and Exercise Psychology that found that athletes who participated and practiced positive self-talk not only performed better, but they handled stress more effectively. And it makes sense because if you're constantly reinforcing the idea that you're capable, strong, and prepared, your brain starts to believe these things. I don't know if you've ever heard the saying, you are what you believe you are, but it is probably more true than you realize. And we've seen this in action. I use this example constantly with my own children and the kids that I coach. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. I don't know if you guys knew that, but instead of letting that break him, he told himself, I will be great. And he used it as fuel. And if you happen to know who he is definitely one of the greatest of all times, if not the greatest of all time. Then there was Serena Williams. She is known for talking to herself on the court, literally reminding herself to stay strong and focused. And during an interview with Wired magazine many years ago, she actually said that she used affirmations as the passwords to her phone and her computer. Think about how many times we access these devices. And if you're constantly typing in words of affirmation and positive self-talk, that could truly change your entire day. I actually use this technique myself, and I start first thing in the morning because when my alarm goes off, it says, today is a great day to have a great day. Now, yeah, that might sound a little cheesy to you, but it makes it a lot harder to start off on the wrong side of the bed when you're quite literally seeing something positive as soon as your eyes open in the morning. The next alarm that goes off for me says, you are enough. And it's a reminder that no matter what my day throws at me that day, I am simply enough. Now, this doesn't mean that I get to slack off and avoid my responsibilities or, bury my head under the covers if my day gets tough. But it's a reminder to me that midway through my day, as long as I'm doing my best is all I can ask for myself, and that has to be enough. So that simple reminder that I am enough gets me through the next portion of my day, or it reminds me that I better step up my game and bring my best. The reality is we all have that inner voice, that one that either builds us up or tears us down. And positive self-talk isn't about ignoring challenges or setbacks. It's about choosing a mindset that truly fuels resilience, growth, and motivation. Science shows that our thoughts can influence performance, whether in sports, business, or life in general. The key is training our minds to work for us, not against us. A perfect example of mastering positive self-talk is Kobe Bryant and his legendary Mamba Mentality. Now, this was, if for those of you that know him, this was an alter ego that he created at one of the times that he felt that he had this uncertainty build up. He had a great career, and then around 2003, 2004, things kind of started to unravel. And this is where he developed the Mamba Mentality. And the Mamba Mentality is described as just being the best version of yourself every single day. It wasn't just about basketball for him. It was a mindset of relentless dedication, discipline, and mental toughness. Kobe believed in controlling the controllables. What do I even mean by that? His effort, his attitude, and his preparation. He knew that he couldn't control all the circumstances around him or what other people around him were doing, but he could control everything about himself, how he showed up and the dedication that he put forth every single day. When faced with failures or setbacks, he didn't allow negative self-talk to take over. Instead, he analyzed, he learned, and he attacked the next challenge with even greater intensity. His ability to reframe his struggles into opportunities for growth set him apart from the rest. Mamba Mentality is about embracing hard work, pushing past limits, and developing an unshakable belief in yourself. It teaches us that greatness is a result of consistent effort, not just talent. If we adopt this mindset in our own lives, whether it be in our careers, personal goals, or relationships, we can cultivate resilience and turn obstacles into stepping stones. It's not magic. It's mental conditioning. Something that I've learned over the years is that confidence isn't just about being good at something. It's about believing in your ability to figure things out. It's like you believe so much in yourself that failure is not even an option. Now, I'm not saying that you might not give it your all and that failure might not happen. But if you go in thinking that failure might happen or that you don't deserve the success that might come, you are already taking yourself out of the game. I truly think that one of the biggest misconceptions people have is thinking that confidence comes from success. Now, that might be true to some degree, but I actually think that it's the other way around. Confidence creates success because it pushes you to take action even when you're not 100% sure of yourself. This is why self-talk is everything, because it shapes how you show up. I'm going to stick with the athletes here for a minute. Now, I want you to think about a sprinter right before a race. They're not standing there at the line saying, God, I hope I don't mess this up. No. They're there saying, I'm ready. I've trained for this. Let's go. That mindset shift changes everything. Your self-talk is either your best hype man or your biggest enemy. So which one is it for you? When I talk about this topic with some of my friends, they will say like, oh, you make it sound so easy. But how do we actually change the way we talk to ourselves? So I want to break it down for you. First, catch yourself in the act. Again, this really means focusing on self-awareness. You have to pay attention to what you're saying to yourself in tough moments. Like, seriously stop and listen. Would you talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself in those moments? If your best friend messed up, would you call them a failure? Or would you remind them that mistakes happen and they'll get better? If you wouldn't say it to your best friend, stop saying those things to yourself. Change the script and show yourself some kindness. And when I say change the script, I mean flip the script. Your words create your reality. If you're constantly out there saying, I'm terrible at this, you'll start believing it. Instead, say, I'm learning and I'm improving every day. And if you're somebody that's telling yourself, I always mess things up, switch it to every mistake is making me better. Because it's true. You're not lying to yourself. You're simply choosing a perspective that keeps you growing instead of shutting down. I don't know about you, but if somebody always speaks negativity to me, my eyes start to glaze over and I'm like, okay, I'm just done. I'm not going to listen to anything you have to say anymore. That's what we do to ourselves. It's really hard to flip it around if we constantly break ourselves down. So flip the script. Next, try talking to yourself like a coach, not a critic. If you stop to think about the best coaches you've ever seen, they don't sugarcoat things, but they also don't tear their athletes down. They push them, encourage them, and believe in them, even when that athlete is struggling. That's how we need to talk to ourselves. Instead of, I'm bad at this, say, all right, well, that didn't go well, but what can I adjust for next time? Be direct, be constructive, but always back yourself with belief. And when you're doing this, I want you to use powerful phrases because words have power. So why not give yourself the best ones? Find a phrase that hypes you up and repeat it. Some of my all-time favorites are things like, I always figure it out. Because there are times where I'm like, what am I doing? How am I going to do this? But if I continue to ask myself those negative questions, rather than tell myself, it's okay, I always figure it out, do you see how very different that would look? Another thing I always like to tell myself is, I'm built for this. Now, whether that's physical pain, mental pain, or whatever that is for you, I know that I'm built for this because we are. We have to remove the mindset that life isn't hard or that our bodies aren't meant to be pushed or that we can't handle something mentally or we can't possibly take another terrible thing happening to us. We quite literally are built for this. And with those challenges comes strength. Something else I always like to tell myself is, I'm the type of person who gets it done. Because let's be honest, I have a ton of deadlines that I have to meet, and sometimes they get a little overwhelming. But I know that I am the type of person who gets it done. And then the other favorite that I have that I've already said is, I am enough. And I do genuinely believe that. It hasn't always been that way, but I've told myself time and time again that I am enough. And I am reminded of that on a daily basis. So say these things in your head, write them down, but even better, say them out loud. Then you have to start asking yourself better questions. I don't know about you, but my brain loves asking questions. So feed yours better ones. I'm sure if you were to ask my parents, they would tell you that I was that annoying child that would always ask a million times, why? I had this deep desire to truly know and understand anything and everything. So if somebody would tell me something, I wanted to know why. So if you're the same way, instead of asking yourself, why do I always fail? Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or instead of, what if they don't like me? Ask yourself, why do I even care? The way we frame our thoughts changes how we feel. So make sure your questions push you forward and not hold you back. And try saying things out loud. And I'm not talking about necessarily when there's a bunch of people around and they might think that you're a little crazy for talking to yourself, but you can start in the comfort of your own home. I know it might feel weird and awkward at first, but literally hearing yourself say positive things makes such a difference. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Stare yourself in the face and say your affirmations with conviction. You need to get comfortable looking yourself in the eyes. And if you can't do that, you need to ask yourself why that is. Look, here's the thing. If the world's top athletes, CEOs, and performers do this, why wouldn't we? Confidence isn't just something you have. It's something you train. And we all have the capability of doing it. Confidence isn't something that we're born with. It's something you build by training your mind just like you train your body. Think of it as a muscle. The more you work it out, the stronger it gets. If you neglect that muscle, it atrophies and gets weak. This is where the danger lies. Stop being a jerk to yourself. Seriously, the world is already tough enough. Don't make it harder by tearing yourself down. Instead, start building yourself up. Confidence isn't arrogance. So if you feel that way, rewire your brain. You can be a confident person and still be humble. It's owning your worth and showing up like you belong. The world needs more people who believe in themselves, who go after what they want, and who refuse to let doubt win. So again, flip the script. Hype yourself up and go be the unstoppable force you were meant to be in whatever area in your life you want to win in. If you take one thing from this episode, let it be this. Your self-talk matters. How you speak to yourself shapes your confidence, your performance, and ultimately your success. So here's your challenge. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself today. If it's negative, put some of the practices I mentioned to use. Start small, but start now. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with a friend because I think that this world needs more confident individuals. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And let's keep this conversation going because confidence isn't just a personality trait. It's a choice. And it starts with the words you say to yourself. Until next time, stay focused, stay strong, and talk to yourself like the badass you know you are.